Hey Tune Bats, welcome back, or if you're new here, hi, I'm Azzy, and we like to talk music in our little corner of the Bat Cave. This week, what I'm excited to share with you is a really beautiful debut album that caught me by surprise because it came out of Russian post-punk, like that music vibe, but it doesn't have a sound that I just have been hearing way too much lately. This sort of converging on a Molchat Doma or Human Tetris vibe. But this band has a very cold feel to it. This is a duo out of Vrozhnik, Russia, near the Ukrainian border, by the name of Midnight Passage. So their debut album, Sleepwalker, released on Bandcamp and Spotify on May 20th this year, so just last month. And I'm going to read you some of their Bandcamp poetry because I really loved it. With polar genre backgrounds creating a beginning where minimalism, lingering strain, fatale experiences met. Starting out of shamanism and mysticism, Midnight Passage created a cold and vicious narrative in a universal language about endless topics that concern each person. Which a lot of the album is themed about loneliness, so yeah, I can get behind that statement, even though it's a little broad. Vintage drum machines, aggressive and frisky bass, weeping guitar, icy synths, disturbing and devastated lyrics create a unique composition that will stay timeless. Which, big claim, but I'm kind of inclined to agree with it. It has a wonderful, wonderful minimal and cold sound, like cold wave cold, that sort of weaves its way between, Soviet wave, dark wave, cold wave, and post-punk. It's pared down, it has simple guitar riffs, minimal lyrics with a lot of repetition. So, it definitely, you can sing to a song by the end of it, but there's a lot of repetition, a lot of really simple rhyming, and a lot of monosyllabic words, which kind of contributes to that cold feel they're going for. I really love the vocals. They kind of flow from being smoldering to staccato to raspy. So the vocalist has a lot of range, and the drum beats, kind of cool. They're programmed drums from an actual drum maker or drum machine. And the drum beats, simple drums, simple synths, but that aggressive and frisky bass they're talking about. Yeah, frisky bass. I really love that description. I love the bass on this album. I'm a sucker for bass. And it is just, it gets in your bones. It makes you want to tap your toes. But this album is so easy to listen to in one go. It's pretty short, but that's not a bad thing. There's so much variation subtle variation amongst the tracks that makes it super easy to listen to. But some of my favorites were the first track on the album, Desire. Might be the favorite out of this album, but the lyrics, they deal with longing and loneliness, something all of us feel. And the vocal melody hook, where he just sings Call My Name in the Night. By the end of the first time I heard this song, like I said, the lyrics are simple. I was singing along to it. Absolute jam. It's earwormed me since I've heard it. I cannot get it out of my head. The second track I want to highlight is Charmer of Snakes. It takes the album to a really spooky place, which is very different from the rest of the album's sort of vibe. The synths are really eerie, they just drone underneath everything. The bass melody is possibly the most complex anywhere else on the album, but it is such a sinister riff. Oh, makes my little goth heart happy. Oh, it's so good. It's the song that I would put in the running with Desires being my top song. Also really solid. And lastly, the title track, Sleepwalker. It's probably the most encapsulating song for how I feel about this album, at least in the lyrics. I don't want to wake up. I kept this album on repeat. Definitely more times than I needed to. But I don't want to leave the space that this music puts me in. It's a really good vibe. It's bleak and it's doomer, and I'm into it. But this track is also the one that they come closest to the Russian post-punk formula on the album in the guitars, but with the rest of the variation across the rest of the tracks, I can forgive them that. It's also a really just fucking good track. So all in all, like I said, this album is an absolute gem, especially for a debut album. Just fantastic. And it's also a total mood, which if you're feeling like you want to, go walk around a spooky cemetery and you just want to feel alone and without a friend in the world, I'd recommend this album. So like I said, you can find them on Spotify and Bandcamp. Links in the description below. And I just want to thank you for being here with me. And a big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who help make the continuation of this channel possible. I couldn't do what I do without you. And really, thank you. I'm going to try to put up more video content more regularly. Get used to this whole talking to the camera solo thing. So hopefully you'll be seeing more of my face throughout the weeks, which, hooray! And I'm sorry, but hooray! Anyway, I'll see you guys all next time. Love you, bye-bye.
This is